Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I thought I would talk about the pros and the cons of going on an exchange while you're in high school. So if you're new to my channel or for some reason you don't know, I went to Italy for an exchange last year and I went for 10 months, and yeah, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experiences, I guess, that I want to share with you guys. So yeah, I thought I'd just talk about the pros and cons today, because a lot of people talk about the pros and the benefits, and while there are many benefits, nobody really speaks about the cons. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about both of those today in a video for you guys. So yeah, let's dive in. Okay, starting with a pro is that you gain a ton of confidence and independence. So I think this is kind of obvious, but anytime you kind of move away from home for the first time, you have to be like really independent, and also moving to a new country where you don't know anyone, it kind of forces you to be like kind of more confident, because you have to be the one to like introduce yourself and yeah, just talk to new people. So yeah, I definitely feel like I came back from my exchange a lot more confident, and also just a lot more independent as well. I mean, I was already pretty independent when I left. Like, I did a lot of my own cooking, but when I went on exchange, it was the first time like I ever really truly like did my own laundry, and I had to look after like my own money and finances and stuff like that. So yeah, you truly do become like more mature. The next is a con. I think I'm gonna go like a pro and then a con, like alternate. So next, going into a con is that it's expensive. Definitely there are like scholarships, there's grants, you know, there's ways to make your exchange cheaper. You can even host someone yourself, and I think it's like one of those cultural exchange, I don't know what they're called, but basically you go live in their house and then they come live in your house, and then you don't have to pay anything. But yeah, you still do have to pay an exchange fee, I think, for most companies. So yeah, definitely like in terms of value, I think it's good value considering the amount of time that you're away. But in saying that, your exchange is still probably going to cost thousands of dollars. Like, for example, I know I spent over $10,000, and that was just the flights and exchange program fee. So that's not including extra money for going traveling and spending money. And for example, if you wanted to go out on the weekend with your friends and like go to a restaurant, you'd have to use extra money for that. So yeah, it definitely is quite a big cost. So if it's something that you're thinking of doing, I would just suggest getting a job and start saving as much as you can as soon as possible. Okay, a pro is that you get to experience a lot of new things and travel to a lot of new places, and I think travel is a big reason people go on exchange, and it's definitely not the only way you can travel. Like, for example, if you finish school, like you can go backpacking, you can do a trip around the world, but I feel like an exchange is just a lot more of an authentic experience, I guess, since you are learning the language and you get to go to a lot of like small towns and places that you would never, like tourists never get to visit. For example, like when you travel with your host family and stuff like that, you go to more authentic places that aren't necessarily just like big cities and tourist hubs where everyone goes. So yeah, it's definitely a pro, traveling, go to new places and new experiences. A con is that an exchange, it's not a holiday. Like, people have this idea that go on exchange is just like just traveling the whole time, but you still do have to go to school. And even though for me I was quite lucky in that I didn't have to take any tests or anything like that, just because my Italian level was like nothing pretty much, so there was no way I was gonna take the test that my class was taking. So I didn't really have to study like the same thing or have any homework or anything like that, but I still had to go to school every day for 6 days a week, because yes, they do have school on Saturday in Italy. And yeah, like, school wasn't really a fun time for me personally. I mean, don't get me wrong, I learned heaps. Like, my Italian improved so much just from sitting in class and listening. But yeah, it's not the most fun experience, but it is something that you have to consider. So I guess a pro is that it's just a con because I'm not a huge fan of school and it just kind of sucks. But there are definitely the benefits of going to a school because you get to meet so much new people and make new friends, and some of my best friends that I met were in my class. So yeah, it's a bit of both, I guess. But I guess just the fact that school can be boring and long, especially at first when you don't understand anything. Another pro is that your language skills improve so much, and I mean a lot. Like, for example, before I left, I had never really studied Italian. Like, I maybe spent like a couple months just doing like Duolingo for like a few minutes a day, and I think I can't remember the exact number, but apparently it told me like I was 80% fluent or something. So I was like, oh yo, this is sweet, all good. I'll go to Italy. Like, I won't be fluent, but by the time I'm back, like, I'll be 100% fluent for sure. And that was not the case. I mean, I had a pretty good vocabulary. Like, I knew quite a lot of words. But when I got there, I literally did not know how to talk to anybody. Like, I couldn't even form a sentence just because I didn't know the grammar, like, at all. Like, I feel like Duolingo teaches you vocabulary quite well, but it doesn't really teach you how to talk per se. So yeah, I would highly recommend studying as much as you can. Like, in hindsight, I wish I took a language in high school. Like, I wish I started studying a language earlier, so then it would have prepared me for an exchange. But yeah, even if you go with nothing, I'm sure you'll come back and your language will be so much better. A con for exchange is, in my experience, living with a host family, just because I didn't particularly have a really positive experience. So in total, I stayed with 3 families, and 2 of them were pretty good, I want to say, but one of them wasn't the best, and I ended up moving family. Yeah, because we didn't get along at all. Like, when I arrived, there was no bed. But yeah, I don't want to go into that today. So anyways, I feel like that's a whole nother video, but basically, personally for me, I'm quite an introverted person, I guess. So like, living with strangers just was not ideal for me. Even though you get to see the culture and you get to experience like what life is like in a proper Italian family, which is really interesting, but it's also, I feel like I felt less free personally. Like, I was in their home and I had to like follow their rules, and I couldn't like eat whatever I wanted or play whatever music I wanted, or like I had to go to with them to all like their whatever they wanted to do kind of thing. So yeah, I felt a little bit less free in that sense. So personally for me, that was a negative. Positive, another positive is that you get to meet new people. So yeah, going on exchange, I met so many new people. Like, I have so many good friends that I met on exchange, not only within the program of other exchange students, but also just Italian people, you know, where I was from and in my class and stuff. So yeah, meeting new people is definitely a pro. Another con is kind of an obvious one, but missing family and friends and just general loneliness of being abroad, like by yourself in a foreign country. It's something that you can't really avoid. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's a pretty obvious one, but it definitely does kind of suck. Especially for me towards the end of my exchanges, when it got like really bad. Like, at first I was kind of like in the mindset that everything was fresh and new and exciting and it didn't really impact me, but around, I would say, this 6-month mark, especially when I moved into that second family that I didn't have a good experience with, I really started getting like homesick. Another pro is that it's like, it gives you a new perspective on life, and just seeing how people live in a different country and the lifestyle, it kind of, I don't know, for other people, but personally for me, it made me like really want to travel, and gave me like a huge interest in language learning and culture, which I obviously still have with me today, and I'm trying to learn like other new languages, not only from Italian, but yeah, it just gave me like a whole different perspective, I guess. And I don't know, it's cheesy, but you like, I don't want to say find myself, but like you kind of just figure out like what you wanted to do, I guess. So yeah, like for example, some people go on exchange after they finish high school, and it just kind of like gives you a year to figure out what you want to do with your life, to be honest. But in saying that, a con is that you are kind of like a year behind. So for example, even though I left during the middle of my last year, so when I got back in June, I could have started university in second semester, so then I would have been 6 months behind, but it didn't really work out. So yeah, basically I'm a year behind all my friends, so like my friends will probably graduate a year before me. But in saying that, I feel like my experience, I felt like I grew so much and it was so valuable to me that a year really is nothing in the longer term if you look at how long your life is and how much you grow. Like for example, some people will take a year off after they graduate, or some people even do a degree and then change to another course. So technically, yeah, I don't see it as a year wasted at all. In fact, I think it was a better decision than people going straight into uni. But anyways, that's just my experience. And the last pro I have is that it gives you an advantage, to be honest. Like it just makes you more of an interesting person. The fact that you've gone overseas, you've done this experience. Like I know that when I got back to New Zealand and I was looking for a job, I put it on my CV that I went abroad in Italy, and like every interview that I went to, people would ask me about it, and people would ask me, it was just kind of a point of conversation, I guess. So yeah, it just makes you more of an interesting person and a well-rounded person, I think, just to be able to go overseas and experience new things. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So I hope you guys got like a good sense of what exchange is truly like, because I know a lot of people talk about the benefits, and the in general, I would say I had a good experience on exchange, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's thinking of it. But yeah, it definitely is not just a holiday. There are like a lot of negatives as well. So yeah, hope you guys found this video interesting, and I will see you next time.